And the OCE Spring Series comes to an end, and as always, we get into a recap. This is going to be OCE Day 2, the Grand Finals recap. Well, all of Day 2, not just the Grand Finals. But was this day better than Day 1? I'd say it was a bit better than Day 1, especially as far as nerves go. We didn't have another Ground Zero versus Renegades showdown, which, God, that's still my favorite match. Still hands down my favorite match. Yep. As always, if you guys are enjoying, hit subscribe. We are on the road, I guess, to 10K subscribers now. People have been showing lots of support on these videos. I think it's awesome. Thank you so much. But yeah, if you aren't subscribed, definitely hit that. And yeah, let's get right into it. I think the first match of the day was Ground Zero Gaming versus Canberra Havoc. So let's start off with that. And man, Ground Zero, not looking good at all. They won. Ground Zero Gaming won one game this entire Spring Series, and it was against Overt, a team that, you know, they expected to not win a single game. So very bad performance from Ground Zero Gaming. Can't help but feel like putting Spy on the team for Deca was not the right play. Not saying that it was Ground Zero's decision. I'm pretty sure Deca left for God knows why. My understanding as to why Deca left Ground Zero is because he didn't think that they could progress any further or something like that. I don't know. Nothing that I can understand as to why Deca would leave, but he did. They brought on Spy and yeah, they didn't look too great. Knowing OCE, they'll probably make another roster change, but Canberra Havoc, I mean, that was a great showing. They you know, game number one as expected was 5-3 in favor of GZ, but then Ground Zero scored a total of 2 goals the last 3 games. 2 goals right after scoring 5. Something snapped. Something in their chemistry just snapped after that first game, and God knows what it is, but it happened, and that just sucks. But yeah, then let's get on to Fury versus Overt. And, you know, we saw Overt with a huge upset over Mind Freak the other day. I was actually pretty excited to see what they were going to do in this game. And, you know, they weren't looking too bad until that 3rd game and 4th game when they really started to, in my opinion, kind of collapse. Well, actually, that 4th game, it did go to overtime. So they didn't look too bad, really. It's just Fury was just obviously a bit better than them. But Fury fixed a lot of their issues. I talked about the other day how Amphis was the only one who showed up for Fury, but today Kenny really got into the mix as well. I still think Scarth throughout the whole day could have showed up a little bit more, especially in their next matchup, but Amphis and Kenny definitely did really well. Sorry, I don't mean their next matchup, I mean their last matchup, because their next matchup, as we're about to get into, Fury versus Canberra Havoc, they swept them. Completely swept them. And yeah, I actually didn't expect this. After Canberra Havoc beat Ground Zero Gaming, I thought, wow, Canberra could make it to the Grand Finals. Like, they have a chance. But no, I think it really was just Ground Zero were playing very, very bad. And yeah, Fury, again, like I said yesterday, they needed everyone to step up. I think everyone stepped up. Even, what's his face? Scarth. I think he definitely stepped up a little more in that match as well. Both matches. It wasn't until the last match where I was very disappointed with everyone on Fury. And I actually do have a little bit more to say about Fury versus Canberra Havoc. They did get swept, and honestly, I don't feel bad for them at all. You want to know what Canberra Havoc's problem was? It's Outlast. And not because Outlast is a bad player, but because Outlast has the shittiest mentality out of anyone that I've seen in a long time. He had 2 interviews, one yesterday and one today, and in both interviews he was talking about how, oh, I can't believe my teammates picked me up, when will they come to their senses and get rid of me, blah blah blah, and just like, and he's thinking, man, I can't believe we made it this far, I don't expect us to make it any further. Like, just the shittiest mentality I've ever had. And you know what? Yeah, you deserve to lose, you deserve to get swept if you go into the match with absolute 0 confidence, not only in yourself, but your entire team. Yeah, you're going to lose. And yeah, I hope your teammates kick you, because you have a terrible mentality that will weigh down the team. And I hated it. I completely hated Outlast's mentality. It was just awful. I'm sorry, I was cringing. It was kind of unbearable to listen to his interview. You could even see the cast. It wasn't just me, the casters, like, it's like they didn't even know what to say at some points. They were at a loss for words. They kind of laughed it off and said, well, blah, 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 trying to hype him back up. But it's like the man just tore himself and his whole team down. I did not like it. It should not have had him to give the interview. And you know what? My question to you, Outlast, is why are you playing competitive Rocket League if you don't even think that you have a chance of winning? Why are you playing? If you think that you're that bad, if you're that much of a detriment to the team, if you're surprised your team won a match and made it to top 6, why are you playing? Come on. Yeah, it just really was terrible mentality, and that's exactly why Canberra Havoc lost, because they had zero confidence, at not even the littlest bit. I'm sure Leduc and what's his other teammate, Steve, they had some confidence, but man, that guy, what was he doing given the interview? What was he doing? But then we get on to Renegades versus Cringe Society, and man, this is a huge surprise. I thought Renegades were gonna destroy this matchup, really. Because Renegades have been really popping off this entire Spring Series, and Cringe Society destroyed Renegades convincingly. Alright, just huge props to Torsos. Is it Torsos or Torsos? I actually don't know how to pronounce his name, even though I just watched the entire broadcast. I think it's Torsos. I'm gonna go with that. But Torsos was just on fire. He was hitting banger after banger, and you know what? If you keep putting balls into the back of your opponent's net, you're gonna win. That's how Rocket League works, and he scored a lot. Right? Renegades actually won game 1 pretty convincingly. It looked like it was gonna be Renegades' victory after that first game, but man, just a huge comeback from Cringe. Huge comeback. And then Renegades versus Fury in losers finals, and Fury again. Not only do you guys get swept by Ground Zero Gaming in the grand finals when it matters, in the semifinals, but you get swept by Renegades too. Like Fury, when it matters, when they make a deep run into a tournament, they just get swept by whoever's above them. It's like they break down completely. They scored 3 goals that entire series, which is just unacceptable. You literally cannot win a series of a best of 7 only scoring 3 goals. It is not physically possible to do that. And yep, Fury did not deserve to win that the way they played. Renegades easily handled their ass in that game. And then they move on to the grand finals, and Cringe Society coming out with that 1-game advantage. I was thinking to myself, no way. After that performance we just saw, Renegades versus Cringe, absolutely zero shot Renegades has to beating Cringe, and Renegades won! Like, what? Just a complete turnaround. Yeah, it looks to me like Cringe and Renegades are kind of 50-50 each other with who wins depending on the day, depending on the match. You know, you feel like if you played that grand finals again, it would go the other way. It's just both those teams are very close. It's hard to say who the best in OCE is, because they both did beat each other. Renegades won 4 games to 2 technically, because remember, they got the 1-game advantage, but then earlier Cringe won 4 games to 1. Just very close, both those teams. But Renegades, they take the grand finals. They are the #1 team in OCE right now, but Cringe Society so close behind them. Very close. And yeah, that was just and that was the day. And one thing that I do want to talk about with OCE now is, do they just not like scoring open nets ever? Am I missing something? Because nobody in OCE, like OCE, they would rather give the ball to their opponents for a counterattack goal than score an open net. That's what I got from watching these 2 days. Just open net miss after open net miss. It was hard to watch sometimes, especially that GZ Renegades game day 1. That was awful. But yeah, definitely looked a lot better day 2. I think it really did come down to nerves though. Like all these open net misses. I mean, SAM didn't even have this shaky of a performance. It was really uncharacteristic to see these teams do that, especially because I think they looked better even at RLCS Worlds, which is a bigger stage. So I don't know. I really don't know what happened with it. Was all the teams. All the teams had a bunch of open net misses all the time. Like each team minimum like 5 to 10 open net misses the whole spring series. It was just crazy. Absolutely nuts. Yeah, I don't know. I guess this is the biggest stage most of these guys have ever played on, so that's the only thing I could think of. But yeah, that is basically it. And next week we get into Europe. Tomorrow we have a news video coming out, and then Wednesday, I don't know what I'm going to post Wednesday. I really don't. We will go over that. See what happens when we get there. But yep, definitely. Thank you guys all for watching. Remember, if you haven't hit subscribe, definitely do that. But yep, that completely concludes OCE. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.